this. Eventually, we were going to start drawing these 65-hour-long RPGs that are on the service. But this is a game I've actually finished, and a game that I plan to finish because we have two of them this week. It is Mother and Mother 2, known in North America as Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound. So I'll go over them in order that they were released. That makes sense to me. So Mother on NES, a North American translation began in 1990 under the title Earthbound. It's two words and with space in the middle. But with a 1991 release date, Nintendo basically decided to pull the plug last minute for fear of how low the sales would be, because North America wasn't very JRPG heavy at this point in time, and the Super Nintendo was their focus. So they didn't think a JRPG on the NES was worth releasing in 1991. So they pulled the plug on that, even though apparently they had finished the translation. And then this game has an interesting history outside of itself that I think is worth looking into. So they release it in Japan. They start getting ready to release it in North America, decide it's not worth the effort. But they made it far enough that a ready for retail prototype copy leaked online in 1998, allowing English-speaking fans to finally experience the game. But it was not officially released by Nintendo until they made it available on the Wii U Virtual Console in 2015 as Earthbound Beginnings, even though the title screen still says Earthbound as two words. So a documentary about the whole journey this game took from cancellation to discovery of the prototype to when it was eventually released on the Wii U. They made a documentary about it where they interviewed all the people involved in the game and stuff like that. It's called Mother to Earth. It's still available online. It's a very low budget documentary. I would kind of compare it. There's another one that maybe only 2% of you are going to know, but it's about on the same budgetary level as The Death of Superman Lives. It's kind of like they had a camera and they were able to secure themselves some interviews, and they got B-roll of the game in there. So yeah. But it's an interesting documentary. It's always interesting when people find these gems. Like, if I remember correctly, I should have put it in my notes. I always wonder how this happens. The prototype was found in a game store. Like, how does that happen? Because it's not the only time in gaming history we've heard that story. So how do these like prototypes for unreleased games end up getting discovered in these game stores?
We had one recently.
Apparently,
we had another one recently where it was in Canada for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Apparently there are a few others out there in the world, copies of, like, it's a literal NES cart, like it was ready for retail when they canceled it. It doesn't have a label on it, but it, they there's a few others. One, apparently Nintendo of America headquarters like still has one, and there's a few others out in the world yet to be discovered. But anyway, on to the story of the game. The story takes place in present day 1988. The home of a boy named Ninten is attacked by a poltergeist, and after Ninten fends it off, his father tells him that his great-grandfather studied psychic powers and asks him to investigate crises all across America. It was the 6th best-selling game in Japan of 1989. So popular there, didn't get a chance over here. And it very much looks like an NES version of Earthbound, by the way. Like, I couldn't believe it when I played it, because I'd always been familiar with Earthbound, even though I wasn't super into it back in the day. And when this went up on the Wii U, I remember looking at it and being like, wow, that really does look like they just remade it on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
Did you guys get to play this one this week?
I didn't have a chance to even try
Okay.
it, so
Yeah,
I
I
I actually because I've finished Earthbound before, I wanna go back and play this one at some point. I played it a little bit this week, but I was mainly digging into that documentary.
yeah, I did a little bit, but honestly, I have so much more to just say about the Super Nintendo that I can probably just talk about both at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll let you start on that, but I'll just say that I'm I'm kind of experiencing something with Earthbound that I didn't expect because I've never actually
okay.
played it, but I was somewhat familiar with it. Um, this this series has really caught my attention like very deeply, and like I'm just there's something so eerie about these games, and it's not the obvious,
Mhm.
and I haven't put my finger on it yet because there's a lot of extremely disturbing parts of Earthbound, which I'm like, how was this rated E? How in
Yeah.
the world was this game rated E? Were they just
Never
not
mind the subliminal stuff that people have highlighted.
right? Right. But it's not even that. It's something that has to do with a combination of the world and the music and the characters, where every
Mhm.
time I'm in this world, it feels like I'm in the world, and there's something that is just extremely off about it, and it's not the obvious. I
Mhm.
have not figured it out yet. But
Yeah, no, the sound design goes a long way in that, I agree.
and I know like it was designed to be disturbing and creepy and um like the the developer pulled images from like dreams and pulled images of like he went into a movie theater and saw a depiction of a murder which he thought was something else that I won't mention. If you look up the movie title, it goes straight to Earthbound. I tried to find it online, but I tried to find what the movie was, but if you look it up, it goes everything you find is just Earthbound theories. The Earthbound theories and iceberg go deep. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a
s-
genuine work of art in that sense.
yeah, so I am just I mean, I'm jumping ahead to SNES, but I am absolutely blown away by this game, and I can't believe initial reviews are like, "Oh yeah, it's so cheery and lighthearted," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Are you serious? Right? Did you finish the game?" I haven't finished the game, but I have some ideas of some themes that they play into this game, which go along with like Japanese philosophy, like uh, the importance of the group overcomes the importance of the individual. Um, and there are just some very dark parts of this game. So I just I'm
I've only seen hints so far where I'm at, so oh boy.
I I'm I'm absolutely amazed by this game. I rank I ranked it, but I'll rank it again after I finish it. Um, I I cannot believe how good this game's story is and how well they built this world. So I could go on and on about it. Um,
I played it for the first time on my, Wii U, and then I finished it for the first time on the Switch. I never finished it on the Wii U, and I remember when I finished it just thinking, I know for a fact that if I had played this in 1996, I would have been just as obsessed with it as I was with Mario RPG. They kind of have a similar thing going in they're both kind of parodies of an RPG in certain parts, and, like, that was a lot of that sense of humor in Mario RPG was why I liked it so much, and, while I agree with you, it is, like, very eerie and dark in places, it also has a sense of humor about itself and doesn't take itself too seriously in certain ways, and I just I would have fallen in love. I really wish I played this in 1996 on the Super Nintendo. I guarantee I would have liked it. Just it would have been one of my favorite games if it had that nostalgia bonus in there.
Yeah.
I still loved it. I'm gonna replay it again someday. You know, there's only so much time as an adult to play video games, but um I beat it in, I don't know, whenever it was added to the virtual console service, which I think was like 2022. That was when I beat it. And yeah, I need to go back and do it again.
Uh,
Yeah, so I didn't rank it because I've been playing it, but it one is more challenging than I thought it was going to be. So I'm just at the point of trying to save Paulina. So
Mhm.
that's where I am. But the things that I've noticed that I've enjoyed about it is I like that if you fight an enemy that's way lower than you now, it's just the battle's over. And I wish
Yeah,
more
it does it
RPGs
automatically.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
did that.
if I remember correctly, when you get to a certain point, you don't even have the fight. It just like kills it on the screen.
Yeah, I think that if it's low enough, and there are little things here and there, like the very beginning of the game when you do kind of have a party and you go to attack the space guy, and that one kid, it'll just be like so and so sneezed or whimpered or like
Hmm.
didn't attack. Reminded me of Darkest Dungeon because there are moments where it's like so and so freaked out and decided to attack someone in the party instead of the monster, and so I'm wondering if you know they maybe played this when they were kids and were kind of brought that dynamic into their game. Uh, and then I like the little like scene changes, like when you go in a building and stuff, how the screen changes.
Hmm.
So I like all that stuff. The thing that's driving me crazy right now is when you go upstairs and then you're facing the opposite direction at the top of the
Oh
stairs.
yeah.
So I just repeatedly
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah,
up and down the stairs like twice in a row
yeah.
before I'm like, ah, no, went up.
I
And
think they fixed that in like not in this game, but like in like future RPGs for like that reason. I know
yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to not look anything else, but I feel like the game's a little obtuse. Like it's not
It
a
is
hundred
very
percent. Yeah,
cryptic. Yeah. Like that I can see why it came with the player's guide back in the day, because honestly, there's some stuff I feel, I don't want to spoil anything specific, but there is some stuff in this game I feel is impossible to figure out without looking it up somehow. And maybe they were counting on, when this game came out, word of mouth on stuff like this was
maybe.
bigger, and like you'd be talking with your friends and like someone would know somehow. But these days there's literally stuff in this game that you will not figure out without looking it up online. And that's coming from someone who feels like I feel like even like the cryptic stuff in Metal Gear Solid, where you have to plug the controller into the second port, is something you could figure out more than you could figure this out.
Sure.
Does anyone know what Ness's dad does where he's able to just continuously bankroll you?
No, but I love the save feature and how you get like
Yeah.
little funny conversations. It's like Metal Gear Solid, back to that, how you would, every time you save your game in that, you get a little funny conversation.
Metal
I wonder
Gear
if that was their
Solid
inspiration.
is exactly like Earthbound, apparently. It's the exact same
Yeah.
game. Uh, yeah,
Yep.
When,
I
when you
really I
die,
really
someone
en
just goes, yes.
I really enjoyed that, 'cause I've played a lot of RPGs now, I would say, that are, like, fourth wall breaking or they, like, make fun of themselves, but I
Yeah.
guess since the RPG genre has existed in video games, there has been that satire of RPGs as well, because it goes all the way back to these games. And I I knew of the Beach Boys connection. Maybe you, Kevin, or maybe I just read it somewhere where they were inspired by the Beach Boys music. And there were fan
Mhm.
theories about like the Beatles and the reasons why Mother 3 couldn't come to the US. Um,
Well, there's also the Blues Brothers influence in there as well with
Yeah.
the Runaway Five.
Oh yeah,
end game.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that makes
I could
sense.
see that.
That makes sense. There was two that I looked for that I thought of initially. Stand by Me, which there's no
Mhm.
connection there because I thought perhaps if they were inspired by like this is like Japan trying to make an America and it's a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I thought maybe Stand by Me. The other one, I wanted to know if Stranger Things had any Earthbound influence at all, but I didn't
No
find
idea.
anything there. But I guess maybe because I was thinking that they both have like pop culture in them, or like this one obviously has like
Right.
American culture in it. You have payphones and ATMs and all of that. So the music was inspired by the Beach Boys. And wow, this game has just aged tremendously. I think this game um plays on a lot of themes that fit really well now. And yeah, I don't and I got into looking at some really popular fan theories. Can we talk about the most popular one? Because it happens at the end.
Is
Yeah.
there any
What?
connection people have found between like this and like Twin Peaks, like David Lynch stuff? Like it's got that vibe to it.
It
It
has a summer
definitely
vibe.
does.
It does have a summer vibe.
Okay.
It does. Um, the the fan theory I'm talking about is this one that you know of, Kevin? Because it's the one that I think is the most popular that I could find, and it has to do with Giygas. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
I think I don't know. You're gonna have to refresh my memory, but I know there's a lot of fan theories out there, especially in how you defeat him.
Or perhaps it's Giygas, because apparently
I say
it
Giygas.
yeah, apparently like there's Earthbound people out there. It's Giygas. I'm gonna say Giygas, but I don't know.
Okay.
But but Giygas, the fan theory, it's the abortion theory. It's that
Yeah.
uh is that they travel back in time, but they travel back in time so much that um basically when they go back and I'll leave out some details just to make it fun, but like um when they enter the place, you see something that could look like something from a woman, and then you're
Yeah.
walking through something which could be like a birth canal, and then you see
Mhm.
something in the center, like this circle thing in the center with Ness's face, which could be like an egg. So the fan theory, which I think there's not much to it, and I think a
Well,
lot of people would
the
disagree.
background during the Giygas fight too. I don't know if you saw this. It's definitely looks like a sonogram of like a sonogram image of like
Right,
the baby in the womb that like the outline of the baby. It's clear as day to me. It looks way too perfect to be a coincidence in my opinion. But it's
right.
one of those things where if you're not looking for it, you won't see it.
Right. So the fan theory is that they travel back in time so much that they actually perform an abortion on the 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 main antagonist. And that's super messed up. But it's not it's about as messed up as what happens to Pooh in this game. Because Pooh gets absolutely obliterated in this game without any
Mhm.
spoilers. It is it is so messed up. Again, I cannot believe some of these things that
But it's
went
rated E.
Mhm.
like was E in 1994 just different? I'm serious
Probably.
because there are
I
some
think so. I think the offenses had to be more overt. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
there are some graphic and extremely disturbing things in this game, and I just think I think it's awesome. I like I feel like I'm 30 years late and I'm telling an audience that's already played this game, like, hey, have you played this 30-year-old game? That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. So I'll update when I actually finish it.
Yeah,
I
yeah, me too.
For now, 16. It might crack my top 10 once I finish it, and top 10 is like pretty big deal. And NES Earthbound for now I put at 63. I played some of
So
it. So it's not really
before I
fair.
rank it,
Yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's it. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'm about done on my end, so go ahead.
Just because you touched on it real quick, I just wanted to bring up I did have a little bit of research on Mother 3 and why it wasn't brought over to North America, and nothing is official, but for people who remember, it started as a 64 disc drive game, which I remember seeing all over the magazines at the time, and I just like bringing up the 64 disc drive anytime I can. Um, it's still unreleased in North America. It came out as a Game Boy Advance game. There's a lot of theories as to why it wasn't officially released in North America. Could be a combination of all of them. Reggie recently said in an interview with Bloomberg News that the lack of localization because it quote just didn't make business sense to make a game that late in the handheld's lifespan, which people have pointed out that doesn't really make sense because the Game Boy Advance was like, followed up by the DS that could play Game Boy Advance games. So
Yeah.
you'll still sell them. It's not that big a risk. Um, but I found this one answer in a Reddit thread, which I don't know if this is the complete reason, but I'll bet it's a contributing factor. And I just thought it was interesting. So this person says, I'll just read their post. As far as I can tell, the odds are pretty good that one major reason why the game hasn't been translated is because, wow, it took a ton of hacking work. Oh, I should say this person worked on or claims to have worked on the fan translation of the game. So you can get like an unofficial fan translate, and this person claims to have worked on it. And he says, it took a ton of hacking work to effectively rewrite the text display routes from scratch. Like, if you've played the translation patch, you may have noticed that, broadly speaking, it displays English text so perfectly that you never notice how perfectly it works. But the original Japanese release was not able to handle text glyphs that aren't all the same size, since Japanese typography generally assumes all characters are a basic square, but in fact had a hard coded limit on how many characters of text could be displayed on a single line. As a result of this, it took months of concerted effort just to get the text displayed correctly. So I wonder if it's just coded in such a weird way that they can't that it takes too much effort to make the translation doable.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's
It's
there's no way to know.
exactly.
Yeah,
There's no way to know, but it's
yeah,
it's it's as good as any other theory out there, and I just found it interesting that like, oh, this game is just programmed in a really weird way.
yeah.
Um
Because the
I
theories that
find
I
it
read
weird
were
that.
about copyright or about like,
Oh,
And
really?
I've also heard one, and I can't speak to this because I haven't played the game, but I've heard a theory that apparently the subtext of that game's story is basically communism is great, and that might be one of the reasons.
yeah, yeah. At the time, I don't know. I think we could have some. I think those themes.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. But the copyright fan theory is incorrect. That's been acknowledged.
okay, yeah.
It's on the wiki page. I'm pretty sure that that it wasn't the the issue. So that was disk drive, right? Was that disk drive originally for disk drive? Earthbound 3?
Originally, it was going to be a disk drive game, yeah.
Disk drive once again strikes again.
It's interesting because I feel like if they were going to have done a trilogy release collection, it probably would have happened by this point. So whatever their no, we're not ever porting this reason is, I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah. And
So my
Smash. Smash is the biggest reason for this game or character coming back up, right? Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
right.
So I ranked the NES version, even though I haven't finished it yet, but I've seen enough to know, I think, on number 30 on my list, which puts it right below Mario Tennis, right above an older RPG, Harvest Moon, on the Super Nintendo. And I might be just caught up in the hype right now, but I remember I loved playing through this game so much, and like I said, I haven't even done a second playthrough yet, but so far with the games we played, I'm willing to rank this number 2 on my list for the Earthbound Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I liked it that much. It's really, really good. I obviously have too much love for A Link to the Past, put it above that, but yeah, if especially if we're going off of like what would you rather play right now, I definitely would rather if I could take a week off of work and play any of the games on this list, I'd play Earthbound.